Hi everybody, Dr. Zach here, and it's been a week or so since I've shot out a video, but I wanted to shoot out another one today, and I really want to focus on this video being really kind of a wake-up call. I've been trying to provide information to inform people so they can make the best choices about how to navigate through the whole coronavirus issue and what's going on with all the other zaniness that 2020 has brought upon us. But today I just really wanted to take some time and say, you know what, if you're not awake, maybe it is time to wake up, because when you are awake, when you start paying attention to what's going on around, you realize that there is no reason for us to be in fear of a virus right now. And that the biggest thing that we have to fear is the tyranny and basically the way that we're being managed through this. And really not even how we're being managed, but how we've surrendered any kind of power that we have in making our own choices and living our own lives, how quickly we've turned that over. But I wanted to take and just share some information about how we don't have to be afraid. We don't have to be afraid of the COVID-19. We don't have to be afraid of the coronavirus. We don't have to be afraid of any germ, because greater is the power that's in our immune system than the power that's in, some kind of a little microscopic organism that the media has us living in panic of right now. And I wanted to share just a little bit about a story I was reading this morning. A great story by a guy by the name of Roger Coops. And this guy's a PhD in biochemistry. He wrote, it's a fairly long article, but I would encourage you to take a look at it, and I'll post it on the website and so forth so you can have access to it. But it's called The Year of Disguises. And I think that just the first paragraph is worth taking and spending some time considering to see if it aligns with you, to see if it sounds like it's truth to you. And it starts out this. It says, 2020 is a year of disguises. Some examples include computer models / modelers disguised as science / scientists. Tyrants / dictators / totalitarians disguised as elected officials. Propaganda machines disguised as news sources. Brainwashing disguised as information. Censorship disguised as public health safeguard. Panic and fear disguised as social responsibility. And I think that it really is taking a look at, okay, what all has been happening around us, and how accurate is it? When we start seeing that any information that's provided that talks about how we have immune systems and that our immune systems are designed to fight viruses, and if we post that on any kind of social media outlet, we're going to get flagged. They're going to call it questionable data, and they're even going to start yanking people off of social media sites for saying such ridiculous things like that, right? We take a look at mask mandates. In this article, which again is written by a guy that's a PhD in biochemistry, he actually spent some time after obtaining his PhD studying PPE, personal protective equipment, including respirators, ventilators, surgical masks, face coverings, the whole deal. And if you want a good read that really gets into just how insane it is that we're being mandated to wear masks to protect ourselves and other people, read this. Read all the information that's out there. There was a Danish study that just got rejected by 3 medical journals because they actually showed data. This was a scientific study, showed data that masks don't work for COVID-19. And the medical journals rejected the articles, not because they weren't scientific, but because it didn't agree with the narrative and the story that is trying to be sold to us right now. So all we have to do is wake up and recognize that there's a lot of disguises that have been passed along to us. And we're in this season right now where we're hoping that we can get a vaccine that's going to come along and save our lives so we can get back to whatever normalcy we think that looks like with our lives. Getting our kids back into school, getting back to churches, getting back to working, going to restaurants without having all kinds of stipulations and number mandates and so forth like this. So we're waiting for this thing, but I wanted to, on that line, share with you an article from the British Medical Journal. And the title of this says it all. It says, Will COVID-19 vaccines save lives? Current trials aren't designed to tell us. So we see all this stuff about this warp speed vaccine trial stuff that's going on. I shared the article about the person who said that God had been killed when they took the vaccine, that they lost touch with their soul. They felt like they were dead. We see several people that have actually, one person recently that actually died in the COVID trials, and several people that have been neurologically harmed. And so we've seen that the trials halted and then started again and then halted again and started because of severe adverse reactions taking place. And yet we're told here, according to the British Medical Journal, that they're not even checking to see if the COVID vaccine is going to save lives. That's not even a question that they're asking. But it goes on to say that ideally, with any kind of a vaccine, there really should be two things that we're shooting for. First is the reduction of the likelihood that you're going to get seriously ill or hospitalized from that virus or that germ. So number one, we hope that it reduces our likelihood of ending up seriously sick. And number two, to prevent the infection and therefore interrupt the transmission of the disease. So basically to halt or to slow down how quickly it's being spread. That should be the two goals of this. Neither one of those are being addressed. What they're doing with the trials right now is just seeing if they can put something out there that will stimulate some kind of antibody production inside your body, regardless of whether or not it actually works to reduce the viral load, and that hopefully not too many people die as a result of the vaccine. So here's the deal: it doesn't seem to me like a very good thing to put our hope in. In fact, if you've been paying attention to the news about the flu vaccine, right? We're being told this year, more important than ever, get your flu shot, because we got the COVID season, we got the flu season, we got every other season that's coming upon us. We need this flu shot. They've actually halted it in Hong Kong. They've halted it in Singapore, and they're starting to question whether they should continue with it in South Korea after 48 people have died from the flu shot. And this is relatively early in the flu season. So, gosh, we're getting a shot so we don't die from the flu, and guess what we're doing anyway? We're dying from the shot. So, we got a better chance of surviving if we just start thinking about how can we make ourselves more healthy. If we just start recognizing that we're responsible for our own health, and we take that responsibility and we live our lives as if our lives depend upon it. That means that the thoughts that we have, the foods that we eat, the exercise we have, the company that we keep, all of this is critical for us staying as healthy as possible. The news we listen to, that will destroy us quicker than anything else. If we start plugging into mainstream media and the stories that they tell us, that's going to destroy our health and our life quicker than anything else you can possibly imagine. So with that, I want to just remind you that if you're going through a struggle right now, just kind of wondering where things are and what's going on, recognize that just the fact you're wondering that is a good thing. If you can actually take and look around you and recognize that we've been told we needed 15 days to flatten a curve for this virus, and now we're 8 months into it, and we're looking at another shutdown right around election time, ironically. Nobody saw that coming, right? Because there's going to be this third wave or eighth wave or 92nd wave or whatever, and we're waiting, putting our whole life on hold for this vaccine. Maybe it's time for us to go, wait a minute. I'm not stepping over bodies. I'm not seeing a pandemic show up. I'm not seeing any more lives lost in 2020 than there were in 2019 and 2018, as far as statistics go from the CDC here in the United States. We have to start waking up. We have to take responsibility for what we're thinking, what we're doing, how we're living. And I would say even for how much we're complying to any kind of tyrannical orders that are going on. So I would encourage you to take and step up, be strong, encourage those around you, and as groups, we can start letting our voice be heard more loudly. We can start resisting more powerfully, and we can, instead of waiting for life to come back to us, we can take back our lives. So I hope that'll be encouraging to you guys. I look forward to any kind of comments that you guys have, and I hope that you'll be able to share this with as many people as you possibly can. Till next time, God bless you guys, and take back your lives.